Well, students, welcome to week 7 of our study of intermediate accounting methods. And this week we look at a very important issue in finance, and one that's becoming more important in accounting, namely the time value of money. The time value of money concept means that a dollar today is worth more than a dollar at any time in the future, because a dollar invested today will grow to a larger amount. Simple interest is computed on the initial amount and is not computed on any interest earned. Compound interest is computed on the amount and on the interest earned or left in deposit. The effective interest rate is the amount of interest actually earned or incurred. It will be greater than the stated interest rate if interest is compounded more than one time per year. Compounding simply means adding the interest and calculating interest on the total of the principal plus accumulated interest. The future value is the value at a future point in time. The present value is the value at the current point in time. There are 4 variables of importance, and they are presented as a single sum problem. That is, we add these 4 variables together to calculate. They are present value, future value, interest rate per compounding period, or per year typically, time period or number of compounding periods, again generally in years. If we know 3 of these 4 variables, we're able to compute the 4th. It's a simple matter of algebraic solution. The formula, factor table, spreadsheet, and financial calculator can all be used to compute the future value and present value. Certainly the spreadsheet that comes with the computer with your Microsoft is capable of calculating present and future values. I recommend the use of a financial calculator. That is something that can be purchased as an application and loaded on your phone or iPad or tablet rather. Okay. An annuity is a series of periodic payments or receipts or of equal amounts that occur at equal time intervals between each cash flow. The equal cash flows are referred to as payments. A good example of this would be a home mortgage payment. There are 2 types of annuities. An ordinary annuity is one where the cash flows occur at the end of the interest period. An annuity due is an annuity where the cash flows occur at the beginning of the interest period. A future value of an annuity is the amount that the series of payments will be valued at sometime at some future period. A formula, a factor table, a spreadsheet, or a financial calculator can be used to compute the future values of annuities. A present value of an annuity is the amount that the series of payments is valued at in the current period. Again, present value is the amount that the total series of payments is valued at right now. Any of the 4 methods, formula, factor table, spreadsheet, or financial calculator, can be used to compute this value. A deferred annuity is where the payments or receipts are delayed until a future period. Our final point, applying the time value of money concepts to accounting applications involving the determination of the present value of expected cash flows, particularly the value of bonds. A bond, if you recall, is a loan which one surrenders an initial amount, which is returned upon maturity, and in the meanwhile earns a stated rate of interest called the dividend. The expected cash flow approach encompasses 3 key features in determining present value. A range of estimated future cash flows, that is, the cash flows may not be determinate or stated, they may vary somewhat. The probability of each of those cash flows occurring, The risk-free rate of return, that bears some explanation. Risk-free means to a lender who has no chance of defaulting. In practical terms, this means the U.S. federal treasury rates for the period of time involved. Up to 20 years, the government will borrow and return money in the form of treasury bills. This rate of return is considered to be very, very close to, if not identical with, the zero risk rate of return. To determine bond issue proceeds, take the present value of the future cash flows on the bond. That would be the sum of the amount paid when the bond matures, called its face value, and the periodic interest payments, the dividends. Use the market interest rate to discount the cash flows, both the annual flows, or they may be semi-annual or quarterly, from the bond itself, and the final payment of the bond. All of those have to be discounted to the present value and added up. The formula for this is rather simply presented. It is a future value is presented to you as a program that involves 4 variables, as we indicated. Actually, we can include a 5th. They are present value, future value, interest rate, time period, and we can also have a 5th factor called payments, indicating how many payments are present at a given time. These 5 are represented on financial calculators as specific buttons that are there as functions for calculating these without knowing the formulas. The formulas actually are quite simple, but they are a little awkward to utilize on a calculator, a simple calculator, because they involve multiple factors. Factor, of course, is anything that you multiply by another number to get an answer. Factor, multiplier. The multipliers in the case of present and future value are fairly simple. It is a parentheses containing 1 plus the stated rate of interest to a power which is equal to the number of periods for which we are discounting, or the number of years. So it's 1 plus I quantity to the power n, n being the number of years. This is the future value, and calculating from a present value to a future value at a stated rate of interest is called compounding. The reverse process is called discounting, and we simply take the inverse, 1 over that expression, 1 plus I quantity to the nth power, n representing the number of years for which we're discounting. And this will give you a present value of your amount. Again, the 4 ways of figuring these or calculating these involve either a table, which is presented in the text, a calculator, which is designed to do just that, financial calculator, or a spreadsheet. Any of those will accomplish that task. It can also be done actually with pencil and paper, but believe me, for lengthy calculations, you don't want to go there. That sums up our topic for the week. Pay close attention to the examples. We will give several problems in the work for you to solve simply, and you'll find that this concept is quite useful in evaluating future cash flows that may not be properly valued without the presence of some discounting interest rate. Thank you. That's all for the week, and we have 1 week to go, week 8, which we will present to you, and upon completing that, you'll be ready for your final exam and graduation from the class. Thank you for having followed along. Bye-bye.